Now, Russia has launched a number of overnight attacks on Ukrainian cities, leaving hundreds of thousands of people without heating or power. In the port city of Odesa, Russia attacked a business centre and other crucial sites, disrupting the power supply to nearly 300,000 people. And debris from drone strikes has been found in Kyiv districts. Officials say that attack knocked out the electricity supply to about 2,600 buildings. In Brussels, NATO defence ministers have been discussing supplying Ukraine with US weapons. And the UK has announced it will aid Ukraine with air defences to stave off Russian attacks on the country's power and heating systems.
The Russians are only making very incremental advances. It is very incremental against high losses. In some months, up to 30,000 Russians dead. Not seriously wounded, dead. So these are incredible numbers, and it means that Ukraine is really sustaining in the fight.
We see that Russia can't defeat us on the ground. We see that Russia is fighting with our civil people. Russia is fighting with our civil infrastructure, with heating stations, with electricity stations. And today Russia attacked our country. They launched at least 24 ballistic missiles. And thank you for support with PAC-3. It was very important for us. And we are continuing to fight with Russia.
All right, we've got two correspondents standing by for us. Audrey MacAlpine is live for us in Kyiv. But first, let's head to Brussels to Hashem Ahelbarra, who's standing by for us there. And Hashem, these air defence systems, is this the help Ukraine is asking for? And I guess, will it be delivered in time?
It is one of the key components that the Ukrainians have been asking for over the past few months. And which they say is going to be instrumental for them to be able to deter further attacks against by the Russians. And yesterday, for example, Nick, the EU decided to approve a 90 billion euro loan package for Ukraine. 60% of that is going to be dedicated to purchasing weapons for Ukraine. Germany and Sweden have also decided to trigger the PURL, which is the procurement mechanism that has been established in the summer when the Americans decided not to send weapons anymore to the Ukrainians, and therefore the EU said that it is going to step in, use its own money, buy weapons from the United States of America and send it to Ukraine. The UK is going to do the same thing with more than $500 million. The Germans and the Swedes. And this is part of a coordinated push by the Europeans and NATO members to further beef up security and defense systems of the Ukrainians at this very delicate moment.
Hashem, thanks for that. All right, let's go from Brussels to Kyiv. Audrey MacAlpine is there for us. So, Audrey, NATO needs, of course, to keep up the flow of weapons. How much more does Ukraine actually need?
Well, in response to these overnight attacks, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy said on X that Ukraine essentially needs these missiles every single day. And the missiles he's referring to are these Patriot missiles, which are best used against ballistic missiles, many of which we saw last night, over 24 ballistic missiles into Ukraine from Russia. But as Hashem was saying, a lot of these weapons are supplied through the Pearl program, purchased from the U.S. by Europe and given to Ukraine. Since the Trump administration came into power in the United States and halted its aid to Ukraine, its military aid, Europe has filled that gap. Even a recent independent study showed that Europe has successfully filled that gap left by the United States. And given recent comments from the Commander-in-Chief, General Syrsky, here in Ukraine, who said that Ukraine has been 74% effective in repelling air attacks, it seems that the biggest problem for them is simply having an ample amount of air defense missiles to thwart these Russian attacks, as we saw last night, Nick.
Audrey, thanks for that. Audrey MacAlpine there in Kyiv.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.